Geek Video Games said how Discord call went a bit asterisk weird asterisk.
Fucking microphone turned off. Don't know when it turned off. At least I realised it before the fucking thing started. No, looking back to more drawing. We've got the bloody Crypt of the Necro Dancer playing this time because I can't be arsed with stupid matter of the copyright stuff, so yeah. Is it fixed now? Okay. I'm here with Vid this time. I didn't realise until after the fucking stream that the Discord audio wasn't enabled for the stream.
Geek Video Games said weirdly there's none on the channel when I checked both arts. Geek Video Games said also I commented on your music tastes, unexpected but acceptable.
Well, this is the same music we had during one of the KSP streams, so let's get rid of this text, it's distracting, and I've changed. Actually, no, I haven't changed, I just realised it's the wrong bloody character.
Geek Video Games said Frank Sinatra in space.
All of that is copyrighted, by the way. Thankfully, only two of them actually, the tracks only messed with. Thankfully, only two of the tracks actually messed around with their bloody video could be seen.
Geek Video Games said the one place extremely touched by capitalism.
The way it pronounced space then. Space. Also, if Death isn't here, I won't be surprised. I'm fairly certain I said something in the first stream which made them think I'm not bothering to watch these people anymore. And it's going to be painful. And the person who watches our streams most time gone.
Make sure to fix that the next time we kill Germany again.
Fix what? The Discord audio?
Geek Video Games said open the country. Geek Video Games said stop having it be closed.
Also, I'm up in the bloody Discord audio. Wait, we can actually hear the TTS. I fucking hate the fact you can't turn the Discord or TTS up. So I have to bloody juggle the audio levels whenever I'm in a chat with someone. Okay, we're going to be doing this another layer. Hopes of improving it even more. Hit them like bloody rulers. Doing that. I don't know why, but the face that Jennifer is pulling in this picture just makes me think of that one scene in Trouble with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think, where the guy just throws a bloody phone at the girl's face and she starts screaming her head off. That is the scream I'm hearing when I see this face. Oh, what the fuck? Fat finger, the bloody... Mouse button, no? Okay, let's hear a little bit about Sylvian then, first. Real faction. Perfectly worded. I'm going to turn Discord up to the maximum volume as well. Just to make doubly certain it can be fucking heard.
Eat Video Games said, "Oh, to be honest, I haven't got anything on the mind in any particular at this precise moment."
Let's hear about, if you can think of anything for them, the start of the faction. What made you think of the faction? Memory serves, it was something to do with Sins of a Solar Empire mentioned. Although that could just be an inspiration for the actual designs. Can't remember exactly.
Eat Video Games said, "You might be thinking of Homeworld." Eat Video Games said, "Oh, like as in Meta." Well, I did mention it before, that EK was originally short for EK United Engineering Group. Eat Video Games said before, later on being incorporated as something in universe. Eat Video Games said, "Honestly, the answer is boring. I needed an overarching theme to tie things together, so I made one."
Fair enough. The initial idea I came up with, that caused me to come up with Gene Breakers, I'm fairly certain I just pulled out of my arse one day when I was just daydreaming. Okay, no, that doesn't work. It needs the guns. I was thinking maybe skip the guns this time, since not human, but yeah, the guns definitely seem to be needed to help. It's supposed to be a mouth, not just a foot. Hey Discord, can you not randomly make noises for no reason and make me think that vid's left?
Eek Video Games said it's just something that occurred more organically, stuff kind of just fit together and I evolved a lot of the.
What would you say is your favourite aspects of Sylvian so far for you? Oh yeah, I probably should actually elaborate on what Sylvian is. Sylvian is the art, I guess, would be the best way to, the best word for it.
Eek Video Games said well, other than just the drip, I think the big thing is just.
I've already forgotten what I was bloody saying. Lost where I was rather.
Eek Video Games said it's not quite like diesel punk or not quite science fiction fantasy, but what I mean is, the biggest thing I kind of like is that it's fantasy but it has a lot of the sort of. Eek Video Games said it is very much sci-fi fantasy in aesthetics, but the ground level world build is very hard sci-fi. Eek Video Games said would be a short way to put it. Eek Video Games said for instance FTL travel is one of the only real common trope concessions that's made, but even then I think I've written it in a pretty balanced way and there's a lot of logical.
Let's see, I don't think I've actually ever inquired on your FTL.
Eek Video Games said I think I only ever gave you the full spiel like years ago.
Maybe.
Eek Video Games said also addendum to that previous question, I would say that I was inspired by some stuff but to be more specific, I was inspired by how bad some stuff was, like missed potential.
Fair enough.
Eek Video Games said also to be honest half of the stuff is things that I only later learned later on, and I'm also give as an example in layman's terms rather than saying I was inspired. Eat video games said, like for instance when I say something is like 40k Space Marines, I don't mean that they are derived from 40k Space Marines, I just mean, basically picture 40k Space Marines in your.
Thank you, Discord, for not doing the entire bloody quiz.
Eat video games said, when I do take direct inspiration from something I'll usually mention it, which a lot of the time is like, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, the initial idea I had for the Paragons came from Unknown Spy's Sploot. In essence, they were literally just going to be 3 circles and then the triangular eyes, then lobby arms and legs. No, they're their entire thing.
Eat video games said, that's funny. Also, that's the 3rd time you've said what Sploot is from and I've still never remembered first try without you telling me.
In fairness, they're a very unrememberable character if you haven't seen the actual memes.
Eat video games said, like hearing you say that, triggered me to remember. But if you said who's Unknown Spy without saying that, I would never in a million years guess on my own. Eat video games said, this is one of those weird things where my entire meme knowledge is just through osmosis through you, so. Eat video games said, the 3 times you've mentioned it in the last decade.
They're a completely different thing. At one point, I really wanted to try and make my own animation memes, and then I realised my fucking software was
Eat
trying
video
to
games said, all I know is there's some kind of alien fellow, with some pink. Actually, it reminds me of the more recent alien cat meme, lol.
Alien cat meme?
Eat video games said, and it was first on the art stream with Tofu.
You mean the green guy that goes...
Eat video games said, yeah.
Crazy enough, I only learned about that like a year ago. Either that or I just forgot about the damn thing for a while. Does that look like an improvement overall, Vin?
Eat video games said, oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Ignoring the lack of a tongue at the moment, of course.
Eat video games said, I never at all got the impression from that.
It's supposed to be a mouth.
Eat video games said, in fact, and the reason is probably just because you specifically described them that way. Eat video games said, the initial impression my brain went to was, they are Slimer girls. Eat video games said, in the same vein that Sylvians on surface level is just Kenmonomimi.
Really need to figure out how to make this hair look better. Really do. Oh well, that's good enough for now. Are we getting nothing but the fucking shopkeeper versions of all the music? I swear that I keep on hearing that voice. Oh, please tell them it's not looping. Okay, no, it isn't.
Eat Video Games said I made a fucking banger joke some stream like weeks ago and it flew entirely over your head. Eat Video Games said it was something like,
Oh, I do tell.
Eat Video Games said asterisk here I'm glad the shopkeeper from Necrodancer is still getting work all these years later asterisk.
No, I'm fairly certain that was in response
Eat
to
Video Games said
pointing
when
out that
somebody
some
used that
song-
same sample in a song.
Yeah, exactly that.
Eat Video Games said yeah.
Where the fuck do I have DaVinci Resolve? I have no plans on bloody doing any work on that today. Shit, that reminds me. Have a look at any of the Dark Souls 2 videos I've made on the other channel, dude.
Eat Video Games said I think I haven't seen them since you posted the final versions no.
Okay, I'm just debating on whether or not it's worth it to continue working on them or not. I think it might be a good idea to just take, at the very least, take a break from working on them for a bit.
Eat Video Games said honestly the aesthetics and stuff. I kinda purposely leaned into it in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way, because it's sort of subversion of initial impressions. Eat Video Games said something that seems pretty surface level at first but, there's a lot of complicated beneath that. I kind of intended it as like a ironic sort of visual metaphor, that Sylvians are.
All of a sudden this is reminding me of that fucking evil chimp from the early Family Guys. It's far less intimidating.
Eat Video Games said I suppose to lean entirely into the metaphor. It's like seeing a fox or something in the woods, part of your instincts somehow tells you, that's friend-shaped.
And then you try to go up to it and the damn thing bites your hand off. Not literally, of course, I'm fairly certain I don't
Eat
even
Video
like
Games said like it's just a fluffy guy, but now behind those eyes is a deeper predatory intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, that looks better, I think. Nobody's watching so far.
Geek Video Games said I'll spare you the entire creationary timeline of course, but, to put it in funny meme terms. Geek Video Games said maybe not a lot of your usuals are on this late anywoo. Geek Video Games said that you did have at least.
Wait to rub it in. Oh well, I'll definitely know tomorrow when I do a Dark Souls 2 stream. Fairly certain it was just death, just popping in and out. To be quite honest with you. At least we're not getting those fucking bot viewers anymore. Fucking hate it. That shit. I don't know who came up with the concept of stream bots, but whoever you are, I'm assuming you're still alive because there isn't any fucking justice in the world. I hope you never know a pleasant night's sleep in your life again, you cunt. Worthless fucking cock. Oh, speaking of fucking worthless, there's a book here. Get off of my desk. I'm not going to kill you just yet. So you again, you're getting squashed. Teach the other bumps that this is my territory.
Geek Video Games said anyway, to say, the same way that man evolved from ape. Closest thing to a genetic ancestor to Sylvians, before getting uplifted, was sort of.
You say uplifted, does that mean they were enhanced by some other species, or did you just use that word for no particular reason?
Geek Video Games said yeah. In universe it's not exactly known, but, okay, I'll give a refresher on that and FTL travel later. Geek Video Games said to say, a bit like whatever those Fox guys from Caves of Cut, sort of tribal, social group hunting and early tool using. Geek Video Games said they were fuzzier and had a lot more of a triangular snout nose. Eat Video Games said first I'll answer that thing about uplifting. Yeah, the universe may or may not also take place in a timeline where the Eat Video Games said ancient humans made contact with aliens theories are correct. Eat Video Games said humans and Sylvians are not at all related. However, it's theorized in universe that the same alien race that contacted humans also contacted Sylvians and then pissed off and
This is starting to sound a lot like Halo, somehow. On the topic of Halo, Carrigans are somewhat like the... I've forgotten what their fucking special name is, the Grunts from Halo. Because they got added to the Federation. I forgot what the exact bloody name of the Federation's called.
Eat Video Games said because of weird overlaps in what is essentially ancient human art, mythology and folklore.
There we go, the Charon Federation.
Eat Video Games said like angels, demons, yokai. Eat Video Games said in the same way that there's odd overlap among real-world folk tales in different cultures, well a lot of those same patterns weirdly coincide with Sylvian historical accounts too. Eat Video Games said messengers or servants of the gods basically descending to Earth and, generally running amok. Eat Video Games said you know, god shit. Eat Video Games said the usual shenanigans.
I can't believe that I was that stupid to not check the fucking Discord audio was enabled.
Eat Video Games said on Binkshot.
Yes. Okay, the microphone is at maximum and yet it seems like I am mumbling. Fucking resent my sister for getting me this fucking thing. It is at fucking maximum sensitivity and yet it sounds like I am mumbling. And
Eat
I
Video
also-
Games said another in-universe piece of evidence suggesting uplifting is that Sylvians don't actually have any direct genetic relatives other than their previous species. Eat Video Games said there's basically a gap in the genetic family tree where they look like they got cut off and then just like, moved 10 inches in a different direction suddenly for no reason.
Oh, finally we have a viewer. Nice.
Eat Video Games said plus just, the genetics don't show the same sorts of patterns consistent with natural mutation.
Also, I'm giving you the
Eat
right.
Video Games said evidence of like specifically biologically engineered.
She is supposed to be wearing a short hoodie. I don't know what the actual bloody term for it would be. You still watching?
Eat Video Games said it would be funny if a cardigan wore a cardigan.
Fucking noises, Discord, for fuck's sake. Oh, they left as soon as they came. Fucking blowing away.
Eat Video Games said I wonder if your DMs are blowing up in another window.
No.
Oh yeah, for some reason my Discord.
The only messages I've been getting is just notifications that somebody's been talking on the VHub General. But I keep forgetting to fucking mute that bloody thing. Oh yeah, that does sound quite annoying, having your settings just reset every single fucking time. I wonder how much they get from fucking subscriptions that are stupid premium that doesn't deserve to exist if they don't put into the actual software to make it better. £2 probably, because everybody's smart enough to not fucking use that shit.
Eat Video Games said another weird thing is that some of the changes suggest might imply that they were originally going to be bioengineered specifically like as weapons. Like a species to just toss at.
I still can't get over the fact that there's no option to just use the middle mouse button to drag.
Eat Video Games said part of the reason why genetic therapy technology grew to be so advanced and widespread, and why it's not quite as simple to translate that to other biology either one-to-one, is because Eat Video Games said part of the leftovers from the uplifting was, essentially an enzyme embedded into their genome that acts as a sort of controllable potent mutagenic agent. Eat Video Games said it's just was normally switched off and it's never a gene that gets expressed naturally, but by turning it on manually with gene therapy it basically means that in a way. Eat Video Games said their genetic OS just kind of comes pre-installed with an editing tool.
So in other words, it's really easy to commit gene therapy on them. Well, the ancients from bloody XCOM would have a field day with them. We have finally found the perfect genome.
Eat Video Games said yeah, it's like the precursor race basically accidentally left the development console open.
Yeah, Eden has something similar after the Targan-human war. They basically managed to refine the mutagen in order to make cosmetic kits to make humans look more exotic, I think would be the best word for it.
Eat Video Games said although the technology and the knowledge is good enough at a certain point that, basically through reverse engineering and also individual biological study,
The Sylvians are the only real advanced race in your narrative, aren't they? They don't like
Eat Video Games said a somewhat more difficult but equivalent process can be done to other races, it's just way less straightforward and it's usually a lot slower.
Brother Lumen.
Eat Video Games said there are a few actually near-peer powers to them.
Oh, damn it.
Eat Video Games said Lunath Strians, which are closely allied, are somewhat behind technologically. They tend to get a lot of the
Oh, I thought they
benefits
were
in
the same
terms of trade.
species. Also, I don't know why, but fucking Lunar Knight, or whatever his fucking name is, from Skyland just popped into my head when you said that.
Eat Video Games said now they are one of the earliest civilizations to have a treaty with Sylvian Empire.
What do they look like then?
Eat Video Games said I haven't drawn any yet, but they're almost dwarfish in terms of archetype, but before you get any ideas.
I've been trying to think of a dwarven faction for the Scales of War.
Eat Video Games said in terms of appearance they are sort of bug-like, catfish-like.
So stout. Mon
Eat
Calamari.
Video Games said yeah.
Actually, no,
Eat Video Games said yeah, exactly. They are quite shorter than humans and Sylvians.
I've just remembered that there is a mod, I think, for WinMod, which perfectly summates what you just said. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but let me see if I can find it. Have you done any more drawings recently, Ved? Or have you just been focusing on...
Eat Video Games said they have a sort of whiskers/antenna, that are external sensory organs that detect chemical and electromagnetic spectrum. Eat Video Games said not really, sadly been too busy.
Oh well. Oh yeah, Vid's work on the Valheim series is starting near its conclusion. With any luck, Vid will be able to start uploading the videos middle of next month? End of next month? Okay, no chance I'm going to be able to find it in 8.
Eat Video Games said they also have large eyes, some that are described as a bit like shining gemstone or hard candies.
Oh,
Eat Video Games
I
said
thought that
colourful.
said candle.
Eat Video Games said their biggest rival, so to say, in meta terms, would be the Hexcotians, which are a reptilian sort.
Kind of like the Sons of Adams who have to do...
Eat Video Games said they are the green and black faction, if you recall that.
Can't say I do, unfortunately. It's looking alright at the moment, Vid. Once you've finished typing what you're already typing, of course. Stop making fucking noises, Discord, for fuck's sake. That's appearing on the fucking stream.
Eat Video Games said yeah, so you're basically redoing it slightly.
Yeah, in essence what I've been doing
Eat
is
Video
just...
Games said from the rough version before.
Yeah. Actually, no, you can't see because the layers aren't... Actually, no, you can see because you're looking at it from the Discord stream. You know, I've got like...
Eat Video Games said non-enabled. Eat Video Games said the things you might get confused when I mentioned them before, which are: Sylvia is like, sort of the species as a whole. Eat Video Games said not to use the term race interchangeably, but basically different Sylvian racial phenotypes are like. Eat Video Games said well, variance in speciation mostly caused by the fact that there's space travel, so gene propagation gets weird. Eat Video Games said what would generally be considered the original genetic phenotype is referred to as Sirenia. You don't tend to find a lot of them out in the planets much though. Eat Video Games said that's more or less your bog standard Sylvian when they first invented space travel. Eat Video Games said the most common nowadays is the variant which, fittingly named, Novadran, or sometimes called Hyturan, from the new capital system and population centers of the Imperial Deep. Eat Video Games said either living on the capital Novadra, or spaces named such because the colonized system is called Juris Alpha. Eat Video Games said Sirenians are sort of the oldest variant. Most common nowadays are either Novadrans, Turans, or the third most common type being Nylevians. Eat Video Games said originally named from the next planet in from Novadra, which is Nyleva. It's quite a lot hotter obviously, extended living within what would be a more tropic or arid climate has led. Eat Video Games said much different adaptation in the overall gene pool. Eat Video Games said they usually have a lot more pigmentation in the hair and skin.
I'll turn my microphone off to blow my nose, and I must have not pushed the fucking button in.
Eat video games said and also have slight differences in cardiovascular system and the body's cooling system because of it.
Yeah, I'm joined by Vid, and this time I actually remembered to disable the fucking mute on Discord audio. And I'm going to be level with you right now. I thought you had abandoned this channel because somebody unsubscribed just after the flipping stream, and I thought it might have been you. Also, yeah, did I mention Vid's here? Yes, that was the first fucking thing you said, you twit.
Eat video games said Pulgarans are the opposite, they aren't that common, but they are more or less Novadrans that love the cold even more.
Hey Vid, think I should keep this curve on the other side of the chest, or does it look better without? In your mind?
Eat video games said well half and half I'd say. That's the case where I'd use something like a 50% transparency, but that's more or less. Yeah, just replace it with shading later on.
Okay. Still haven't been able to figure out how
Eat video games said lose the line and then just add soft shading later on.
Okay. What do we do about there this time?
Eat video games said my brain can only describe this as throwing gang signs.
Well, it's just supposed to be pointing at the bloody camera.
Eat video games said the forced perspective on the thumb I quite note.
Yeah, that's the one, that's the digit I've been struggling the most with to look right. Alas, I don't have a Carrigan's finger, and I also can't rip
Eat
the
video
damn thing
games said
off.
reminds me of
Staring
the
at
funny perspective in JoJo poses honestly.
I was about to do a very, very poor attempt to do a Jotaro quoting Japanese then, but alas, I only knew like 2 words in Japanese. And I doubt I even know how to bloody pronounce them correctly. Osaimase! And, oh, for fuck's sake, what is it again?
Eat video games said well the cheat I just use is, looking at your own hand rotated 180 degrees,
Yeah, I've
is
been
the same
trying
as the
that,
hand
but
of
it
somebody
doesn't
else
work
mirrored.
for me for some fucking
Eat
reason.
video games said okay maybe that's not that helpful of a tip.
Oh, funny, it's a tip for tip of your finger. And how I just started dwelling on my hand, doing my hand into my finger, and I nearly poked my eye out. That would have been a very embarrassing way to go to the bloody doctors.
Eat video games said I honestly only still do it when I'm trying to figure out how somebody should grab a weapon, in terms of joint length and spacing.
I'm convinced I need to make
Eat video games said free-handing, no pun intended, hands without anything in them though I can do pretty much by vibes.
Well, there's no surprise there.
Eat video games said I just like for mechanical reference.
Revolution Idol? What is Revolution Idol? Why is Reactive playing that?
Eat video games said I tend to try and use more. Eat video games said I guess direct reference.
Hang on, does this look better?
Eat video games said kinematically.
I think so, that does look a tiny bit better. Although we do need to lose the curved arm. That's it. Yeah, it looks better.
Eat Video Games said also it does looks like their elbow is getting eaten by the perspective. Then again it's a goop creature, so who's to say we're not operating on rubber hose logic?
Well, she is partly human, because, well, I'm just going to say it right now, she shagged a human in his sleep. And that's how they take on partial human. That was terribly worded. Because the story with Kennifer is she was a gunner in some bloody Corrigan vehicle that got hit by a heat round. It didn't kill any of the crew, but it was attacked with the intent of being captured because a mechanic wanted a piece of equipment from the wreck. The crew that took the wreck just basically told the mechanic that if he didn't take the Corrigans in, they'd kill them, and the mechanic had a bit of a soft spot for them just because of how cute they were. Kennifer had this teddy bear that she just found at some point in some ruin, and the others just kept on teasing her because of it, at some point ripping the darn thing. Mechanic, seeing this, decided to repair it, and then Kennifer just started getting feelings for him. At some point deciding to give him a good time. Then over the course of like 3 days, she started to become a bit more rigid in her form and develop a semi-solid skeleton. And also started growing hair. Was that necessary for me to mention? No. Did I mention it anyway? Yes. Why? I don't fucking know.
Eat Video Games said I'll be honest, I zoned out in the middle, mostly because I was typing, but I did catch the whole end part.
I don't blame you.
Eat Video Games said I did get the most of the description part, but I did miss like, whatever it was at the 20% mark. Eat Video Games said speaking of things, I haven't specifically explained why Sylvians are bustly, but I mean, evolutionary biology provides you the tools to use your imagination, and I'll just Eat Video Games said I put it in the same category of like, Star Trek, why are Klingons just people with bumps on their head?
Oh, full of energy. I had to flipping look that up to make sure I read that correctly.
Eat Video Games said what's full of energy?
That's what bustly means.
Eat Video Games said I mean, something's full of energy, Lenny.
Were you referring to busty? Because I'm fairly certain that wouldn't really accurately describe the female.
Eat Video Games said I think I'm meaning it in the 19th century memes. Eat Video Games said so yeah. Eat Video Games said I mean they're full of energy too.
What do you mean by the 19th
Eat Video Games
century?
said actually, some types of Sylvians are quite known for having a ravenous metabolism. Eat Video Games said anyways, to get back on track.
Yeah, let's.
Eat Video Games said that's one of the few cases where the logic is just being carried by normal sci-fi fantasy aesthetical tropes, and there's not really world-building reasons beyond that. Eat Video Games said not so say there's not some real freaking oddballs out there in terms of minor factions. For example, there's kind of a squiddy folk. Eat Video Games said the former.
Okay. Yeah, bustly is not the word you're looking for. You're looking for busty. Just cut the L out.
Eat Video Games said honestly one of the biggest differences is actually cardiovascularly.
What, do they have two hearts? Like my Adam's Angels do? For the people in the back, Angels of Adam are basically my equivalent to...
Eat Video Games said Sylvians have a odd sort of self-cooling system. No, but they do have a multi-chambered lung system, somewhat like birds. Eat Video Games said bonus heart, for more strong.
Cool. Multi-chambered lung system, that's interesting. Surprising, funnily enough, I only recently learned how that works properly. Not that I can actually remember it, but I remember having learned about it. Oh, just stare right at the box. Thank you, scroll bar. If I had one fucking piece of UI to remove from this fucking thing, it would be the bloody scroll bar.
Eat Video Games said Sylvian skin is sort of made of very tiny pores, sort of like the leaves of a plant in a way. They don't cool off by sweat pores but rather by basically a direct aspirative cooling.
So they basically act like a reactor's cooling tower?
Eat Video Games said they are very resistant to heat in short duration as a result, but they basically rapidly lose moisture as a result.
Okay, suddenly realising an absolute boneheaded mistake I made last time with the crotch. It's way too far backward, it needs to be about here, I think.
Eat Video Games said so Sylvians basically don't get heatstroke the same as a person, but over long durations of time they lose so much moisture and electrolytes that it can cause an acute imbalance.
Oh no, not an acute imbalance, they'll fall over. What the fuck's happened to the UI? All the UI pieces have just randomly decided to minimize. The fuck? Don't do that to me.
Heat video games said a syndrome colloquially called ion poisoning, not just heat but a lot of other factors can cause it, including certain sorts of autoimmune reactions.
Interesting. There's one movie that can be quoted right now. I don't know what the fucking term is. If you've got fucking... I was about to say fucking Ryan Gosling in it then. No, Tim Allen, I think. Tim Allen? The same guy who did fucking Big Boss Man from the Lego movie. Give me a moment.
Heat video games said the nearest comparison I could say would be like iodine overdose, or certain types of kidney disease.
What business there is fucking Will Ferrell. That it? She got a great ass! Stupid. I wonder, how many bullets do you owe me if we ever meet in person? Is it 12
Heat video
BMG
games said
rounds
Sylvian
and then
biology is much
a
more
buckshot to
heavily
the
based on
face?
basic chemistry, not alkaline.
Or is it more at this point? I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. I'm sorry, Kay, I'm going to have to apply this 20mm anti-tank round to your face.
Heat video games said me when I asked the clerk attendant asterisk, do you have any more GBU 500 JDAMs in the back asterisk?
All of a sudden, I don't know why, but I'm quite curious about that Stalker unit of yours in Rusted Warfare. Does that have any lore to it, or is it just a armoured thing for the troops building?
Heat video games said they are just basically an early prototype at autonomous infantry. They are an early model of construct.
I swear the more we do this flippin' version, I swear the worse it looks. Although it might just be me rushing to get this layered in so I can go to bed. Could just be that. Maybe I could start a bit sooner next time. Well, who knows? Maybe my flipping concentration is starting to lapse just because I'm listening to the exact same bloody music like 15 separate bloody times.
Heat video games said also to say before I forget, Sylvians also have an above average resistance to barometric pressure changes, just due to organ differences and bodily fluids.
Makes sense, considering in fact a load of your stuff is from barotrauma.
Heat video games said and also because how weird their generic data works, they naturally have a really good time at tanking radiation.
Interesting. Oh yes, that DLC you mentioned. Let's have a quick look at that scene as they announced it.
Heat video games said they also age weirdly and differently.
Oh yeah, do that on stream, why didn't you? Professionalism!
Heat video games said they announced that it was delayed.
It says all now.
Heat video games said after it was already announced a year ago. Heat video games said you just forget.
think I'm just going to be rushing the rest of this. Well, this is definitely looking a lot better, I think, just because more details and the line.
Geek Video Games said actually not just high pressure, but low pressure as well, and of course slightly higher G-force resistance.
Actually, you know, if tomorrow doesn't end up being a Dark Souls stream day, I might just use that segment for an art stream.
All depends on my mood. If I'm not in the mood to be made to want to scream internally, I'll do art. If I'm just in a good mood and don't mind being made to want to punch myself in the face till I lose consciousness, I'll do Dark Souls. For now, however, I'm too tired to continue.
Geek Video Games said those environmental tolerance actually come in hand when it comes to Sylvian life support being able to be a lot less complicated, and a wider margin of safety.
Who knows what fed to speak a little bit more? I'm gonna call it.
Geek Video Games said I done anyways.
Well, I think that's going to be all from me. I'll be back tomorrow for more. Well, you know, I'll definitely be back tomorrow for more because I'm just enjoying working on this. It's slowly getting better and better and better.
Geek Video Games said I'll paste you later the full text of some old writings later too.
Okay. Well, that's going to be all from me for today. Good night. Ta-ra.